Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me once again. What I want to talk about is the Trump administration's outstanding attempts at ridding this country of the illegals. According to this article in Breitbart News, uh, it's just incredible what he's doing. It's entitled ICE Deported 7,300 Illegals in Trump's First Week. And as you guys can see here, I don't know if you can fully see this, but I just wanted to kind of show you that this is an actual article. It's not something I made up or fabricated. It's an AI. It's from Breitbart News. But according to the heading, ICE deported 7,300 illegals in Trump's first week. And this is really fabulous. I'm liking this. This is showing that Trump is fulfilling at least one of his campaign promises. And he's doing exactly that. Let's get right into this. President Donald Trump's ICE agency has deported 7,300 illegal migrants in its first week, according to a statement by the Department of Homeland Security. Most of the deported migrants were criminals guilty of or facing charges of robbery and rape, assault, domestic violence, drunk driving, and reckless driving. And it's interesting because what kills me about the left is that they have this intensive desire to protect these kind of people. Look, y'all know I'm gonna go off in a minute here because I don't like the left. So, in the way they think, particularly the ones in leadership positions in particular. Okay, I don't hate anyone, but I certainly do not like liberal politicians and liberal people in leadership positions. I don't like them because their worldview is evil, satanic, is nasty, it stinks. I can't stand it. Now, with that being said, it's interesting to me that these liberal leaders, people like Brandon Johnson of Chicago and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, these communist nutbags have such a desire to want to protect these rapists, these murderers, these killers, these thieves. It makes no sense whatsoever. They have more love and concern for these criminals than they do American citizens. But then again, it's not a shock to me. They're liberals. They're liberal politicians. They're liberals in leadership positions. They've never cared for anybody. But let's go on. Trump, however, wants to raise the pace to 1,200 to 1,500 deportations each day. That would bring the total annual deportation up to roughly 500,000 migrants. On Monday, ICE reported 1,179 deportations. ICE also requested 853 detainer requests to local police force asking that they hold detained illegals until they can be picked up by ICE for deportation. There's been a lot of controversy about that. I was watching one news clip where I can't remember exactly who this person was, whether he was a mayor or some kind of politician, but he was clearly liberal, yicking and yakking about, well, they're in jail, they're in prison. Why would you want to come and deport them? They're already locked up. But what ends up happening when ICE leaves, they let these guys back out. Man, shut up before I pimp slap you. Okay, God, dog it. These people think people stupid, man. Let's go on. Calm down, Ryan. Calm down. I hate deliberate liars. I can't stand these people. Let's go on. You let them right out. After the ICE leaves, your end lets them right out. That's why they want to get them, because you let them back out. You only got them in jail so that you can hide them from the police raids, man. Stop it. Many additional illegals may self-deport because of police pressure and because employers are reluctant to risk workplace raids. The exiting migrants may carry skills and experiences from the United States to the economies of their home countries. That process will help grow the trade between their home country and the United States. However, the increased deportations have spurred flag-waving protests by foreign communities in the United States. Of course, you know. So there's one particular video on X, formerly known as Twitter, shows a foreign mob surrounding Trump supporters, surrounds a Trump supporter and tears down his American flag. Of course they do, because they're violent. But the left like to yick, like people on The View and liberal news sources like to yick and yak about how dangerous conservatives are and the January 6th rioters being released and all this kind of bull crap. But yet you see liberals grabbing flags and tearing them down out of people's hands. That's how they are. This is how they are. They're radicalized nutbags. You can't have your cake and eat it too, liberals. You can't do that. It don't work like that's not reality. Let's go on. Tear down his American flag during protests demanding no deportations. End of article. Yeah, I made it through that. Yeah, but here, that's good news. That's good news. Now, the thing is that I was watching one particular news clip that stated that, I think it was in Chicago, or there was this particular restaurant owner who clearly was, I'm going to say clearly, but I'm going to assume that he was there illegally, but he owned a restaurant. And he had been there for some time, and he was stating that he paid taxes. He was a Mexican guy, and he was claiming that he was a taxpayer. He had been there for years. He owned the restaurant. The camera was showing all the nice food that he was selling in his restaurant. And he was like saying things like, well, you know, I'm fearful that Trump is going to come here and deport me. You know, ICE is going to come here and deport me, this, that, and the other. And honestly, I do understand his point of view. But what the mainstream media is not spinning to him, okay, what the mainstream liberal media is not spinning to him, is the fact that at this current time, ICE is not rounding up people like himself and innocent, so-called innocent families and deporting them. You don't see that nowhere. What you really actually see, if the mainstream liberal media would bother to show it, although they don't, what you actually will see if you watch places like News Nation and Fox, you'll see ICE actually deporting criminals and gang members from Venezuela and all these and these terrorists and all these kind of people in our country. Them the ones you see being deported. Now, if he was given that imagery, he probably wouldn't feel that way. Although at the same time, let's be realistic. If you're here, if you've gotten here illegally, regardless of whether or not you've been here for years and you pay taxes and you got a restaurant, this, that, and the other, you're still here illegally. If they come to deport you, I can't fully feel sorry for you because you're here illegally. And that's your fault. Had you just went through the process like millions of other people who want to migrate here, going through the processes and doing it right, what makes your situation, sir, or anyone for that matter, different? Why choose to do it illegally? Why don't you just go through the process of doing it legally? I'm going to guess maybe they don't want to do it legally because of the time it takes. I don't know. Maybe it takes too long. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe it's this. I don't know. But I'll say this. You can't go in any other country and do that. You have to go through the process. Unless they got a bunch of liberal nutbags like we have here in America and say, oh, open borders for everyone. When I know what you're trying to do anyway. You're trying to destroy the country from within by breaking up its cohesiveness so that you can create a communist one world government. But I digress. You can't go into any other country and do that. You have to go through the process like you're supposed to go through. Why in America we have to act like a bunch of idiots and just say, oh, open borders for millions of illegals to come in the country? Man, stop. Don't make me say something that I'm going to have to repent for later. Cut the mess out, man. These people are lying, bro. They're lying. In this situation here with this man here, I get it. I understand with the individual I was talking about in reference to him owning a restaurant. I get it. But that's not what's going on right now. What's going on right now is the deportation of these high-maintenance, violent criminals. Okay, so the mainstream liberal media needs to stop spinning these lies of showing women. You have one side where they have the reporter, and then in another side, in the literal split screen. This is what I've seen in the news. Literal split screen of a woman, of illegal, I guess, crying and boo-hooing, and all they're doing is trying to appeal to the Americans' feelings, their emotions. But according to a CNN rating, a CNN analyst I was watching, where they stated that over 60-something% of Americans approved of state, essentially, that America is going in the right direction in terms of the deportation of these illegals. I mean, what's going on here? If you got all these Americans approving of it, then it clearly is cool. It's all good in the hood. To all this, showing pictures of women crying, boo-hooing is a bunch of nonsense, because you don't see ICE coming in there grabbing these women and their children in their homes and putting handcuffs on them while they crying and putting them in the back of wagons and trucks. You don't see that. You see criminals, thugs from all kinds of different countries, Asia, Africa, whatever. That's what you really see. That's what's really going on. Mainstream media is a big, fat joke, man. Them people make me want to upchuck. I can't stand deliberate liars. But going back to the situation with Trump's, these raids, hey, man, I don't have a problem. What reason would I have to be against it? And let me tell you this, too. Another thing that the mainstream liberal media keeps spinning is this idea of Americans all over just fearful, just angry, just fearful. Woo, woo, woo. It's to the point, and I'm going to be transparent, I'm going to share this. It's to the point where they've gotten certain people revved up towards against Trump to the point where they're getting up in the church. I've had this. This happened twice. Okay? Well, I'm not going to say. I ain't going to share it. All I'm going to say is that it's been happening in churches where the people get up before the people and say things like, boy, this president we got right now. Oh, Lord, geez, the president we got right now, you know. Those type of things ought not be said in the church sanctuary. Leave your political views out of the church sanctuary. But anyway, I digress. The mainstream media got people so revved up and so upset and frustrated that they think that, my God, that this whole thing with these deporting of these illegals, oh my God, they got to the point where these regular American people are like, oh God, what are they doing? Man, let me tell you something. I want people to think about that for a moment. I want these people to think about where they're boo-hooing and crying for these illegals. I want them to think about the boo-hooing and crying. Let me get something straight here. You flip-tripping over people that you more than likely don't know much about, and stop saying you do. You may have a friend that's from Mexico or whatever. Okay, fine. But you know in your own heart, you ain't all that broke up about it. You're not being deported. What you tripping on? Quit tripping, bro. Quit tripping, sister. What you flip tripping about? It ain't you being deported. It's them. Why are they being deported? Because they're here illegally. Why you boo-hooing and crying? I'll tell you why you boo-hooing and crying. You're boo-hooing and crying because the mainstream media got you, mainstream liberal communist supporting media got you so worked up that you, and at the end of the day, when all these people and your buddies and your boos gets deported, you're going to calm down and you're going to go about your everyday regular life. That's what you're going to do. What you going to do? What you going to do? Travel over there to see them? You're probably not going to do that. The American people have to stop being lied to by the mainstream media. They got to stop allowing the mainstream liberal media to stir their emotions up. Because that's all that is a stirring of the emotions to get people to be angry with what Trump is trying to do. Y'all had that clown in office, Biden, for 4 years, and you had that other word salad tossing, I don't know what, wanting to become the president, would have screwed us up big time. By the grace of God, thank God she didn't get in, man. I'm thankful to that. But anyway, calm down. Okay. Yeah. You tripping over that. Why you tripping? Why you tripping? You're not affiliated with them. These people, these American people are not even affiliated with these people. You don't even know them, man. You don't know them Mexicans and them Chinese people that's coming over, Chinese nationalists and all that. You don't even know them. And you in the mainstream media got you crying, oh, Trump gonna deport these people. He gonna deport these whole families. Let's just assume, for the sake of assumption, that Trump starts rounding up so-called innocent families that are here illegally, but you know, they families, they got kids, so you start rounding them up. What's it to the average American citizen? Really, when you look at it, now I know people might think this sounds harsh, but let's be realistic. Let's face the facts and deal with reality here. What's it to the average American citizen? They're not rounding up your families. They're rounding up the so-called innocent families, okay, who are here illegally. They're rounding them up and deporting them. So what's it to you? What's that adding or taking from you? Not a single solitary thing, except maybe you may have been friends with them at some point, but you will live. You can get new friends, American friends. What's the problem? What's the problem? The mainstream media got you all worked up for the most part. Stop it. Just stop. I ain't talking about anybody that's watching this video, okay? Y'all know that. I'm talking about all these people out here that watch the mainstream liberal media. Got you worked up. Got to break out the matrix, man. Got to break out the matrix. But anyway, yeah, that's what I had to say on it. Yeah, I think Trump is doing a good job. I admire him. Nothing's perfect. No politician is perfect. Okay. But he's fulfilling his promises, his campaign promises at this point. It is what it is. But what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about the numbers that ICE is reporting here and the fact that Trump has basically said, look, we need to increase it? Yeah, what do you guys think about all of this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.